everybody? It's Baron with One Chiropractic again. We're finally, not finally, because I wasn't looking forward to this, but we've reached the end of our time with Dr. Hoffman in this series. Don't you love how I had to pivot on that one? That one didn't come out right. This is that whole thing of aim or shoot or whatever. I'm losing my words completely.
Well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But we're at our final session with Dr. Hoffman today. And I can't think enough. I hope you go back and rewatch this series with him because he just really dumped on us all kinds of amazing things that most of you have been asking for. How do I take this stuff into my practice? And we love it. You got us. We want to change the way we're doing it, but how? That's what these last few sessions have been about, is the how in your practice. So Dr. Hoffman, today I want to kind of give you an opportunity to kind of wrap things up and share with our viewers whatever it is you want to share with them on your last session today. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. And I've thoroughly enjoyed this. And I look to get feedback from the people watching and listening to this as well. We got to get together on the same team and lift this profession up, rebrand who we are to ourselves and to the rest of the world, or game over and we can all go work for Kmart, okay? So that's not a knock on Kmart. I'll be political.
No, but it does show how old you are because they're not even around much anymore. So
there you go. There you go. I am old. So let's open up the possibility here that no matter what kind of results you currently get, is it possible you can get better results? Is it possible your results can be faster, better, and longer lasting? Is it possible you could do less and produce more? Is it possible you could adjust in a way that there's a far, far smaller chance of ever causing a problem? See, just open up to the possibility. I believe that the quality of our life is directed by the quality of the questions we ask. And we've got to stop accepting the status quo. The status quo has got to go. See, that's my belief. And how I get to that belief is by I'm always asking questions. And sometimes you get beautiful answers, and sometimes you get answers that doesn't feel quite right because it challenges some of your core beliefs. But that's okay. You know what they call that? Growth.
Right.
And that's what we have to all be committed to. So regardless of how you adjust, regardless of what technique, what instrument, what hand, what section of the spine, that's your business. I want you to be masterful at it. I want you to be great at it. But in a brain-based practice, you have to get this concept. When you adjust from C3 to L5, you're basically stimulating an already overstimulated sympathetic nervous system. The only parts of your anatomy that when you adjust stimulates parasympathetic healing is the cranium, atlas axis, and sacrum. Not because I'm an upper cervical guy or I'm not, because that's the anatomy and physiology and neurology of it. Nobody told us that, but that is the bottom line. Now, that doesn't mean we can't ever adjust between C3 and L5. Of course we can. You find a stubborn subluxation at T5, fix it. But you don't need to fix it every visit. You don't need to fix it with a lot of force to stimulate the sympathetics. And please, I'm begging you, don't end the visit on that adjustment. End the visit on a parasympathetic adjustment. So less is more. Start thinking in terms of, could I adjust 1, 2, or maximally 3 areas of the spine and get at least as good, if not better results? The answer is absolutely. So I don't care how you adjust the sacrum, if it needs to be adjusted. I don't care how you adjust the occiput or atlas axis, if it needs to be adjusted. But then leave the body alone. Have the faith, confidence, and belief that what you did is enough to stimulate the brain, to normalize and maximize the brain, to reboot the brain. It's the Control-Alt-Delete for your nervous system. You know, it helps your patient go from a Pentium 1 to a Pentium 4. That's what the adjustment is about. We don't move bones. We stimulate the spine to stimulate the brain back to normal. And if we can own that, it's less physically demanding. There's less potential, even though there is still ridiculously small, there's even smaller chance of injury. You'll get faster, better results. So just consider that. Experiment with that. Take your next 5 new patients. They don't know what you used to do. Start with them and just have a holy mackerel moment for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So this is all part of the process. We need to make the transition from pain to brain without ignoring pain, but closing that gap between feeling better and functioning better. You must change the conversation. And it isn't a radical departure. Please, doctor, you don't need to blow up your practice. You don't need to throw the baby and the bathwater out. You need to refine it, modify it, evolve it, ask better questions, ask stress-related questions, communicate with emotion, with viscerally emotional comments, use the right words, think before you speak, connect everything back to the brain, extrapolate what you're finding and what it means, get the patient to see that care is a necessity. Let me tell you what, once the patient knows that you're neurologically based, once the patient knows that they're under stress and it's affecting their body, and every time you adjust them, you reboot their brain and put it back into a state of normalization, and they feel and function better, they're never leaving your office because they know they're going to have stress for the rest of their life, and therefore they need someone like you on their team to neutralize that stress for the rest of their life. Let me tell you what, it's ridiculously easy to attract endless new patients in the neurological epidemic world we live in.
That's right.
It's ridiculously easy to get your patients to convert and choose care. It's ridiculously easy to get patients to follow through your program. You know what I discovered? Doing less more often consistently produces better results than doing more less often. We need to see patients more. Patients are far sicker today than ever before. We need to see them regularly. And here's why. The language of the brain and the language of the body is repetition.
That's right.
Repetition. It's adjustment after adjustment, reboot after reboot is what creates the healing phenomenon. If we go back to maybe the first video, I can't remember which one it was, it's like the exercise paradigm.
Right.
Nobody would exercise once a month and expect to get in great shape. You have to exercise multiple times a week for multiple months to get in great shape. And even after you get in great shape, you can't stop exercising and expect to get in stay in great shape. And it's exactly the same for us, except we haven't had enough backbone to tell that story until now. So I hope this information has empowered you and engaged you and reminded you why chiropractic called you into the profession. Chiropractic isn't your job. It isn't your career. It's a calling. If you go back and think of all the crazy things that had to happen that landed you in chiropractic school, you couldn't have been in charge of that. You were called into this,
right.
But you weren't called to play small. You were called to make a difference, to change the world. Anything less than that is Mickey Mouse and not worth playing. And I hope that these interviews that I've had this much of a part, it rekindling your pilot light, reminding you why you were called in to be a chiropractor, reminding you about the power you have in your heart, hands, and head. And to have you change the conversation and get back into practice for the right reasons and tell you truth. And when you do, I'm telling you, game over, everyone wins.
That's right. That's awesome. Dr. Hoffman, thank you again so much. I love spending time with you, and thank you so much for supporting One Chiropractic for all these years as you have. I know you're a contributor, and you've been a key force with a lot of the initiatives we did early on in the organization. And thank you for doing what you've done with Master Circle. I thank God that you had that epiphany and you got asked to go to those seminars and you had that pivot, because right now you're the only organization I know of in the industry that's really focusing on this mission. So of course we're aligned on that, and I will recommend anyone go to you if that's the direction they're wanting to head. So thank you for that. Please be sure to tell Dennis how much I love and appreciate him as well. And I do want to remind the viewers again, for the last time, that the materials that Dr. Hoffman has offered for you at no cost, no strings attached. But if you want a copy of his book for the 41 stories and articles surrounding this idea of vein brace chiropractic, you just need to text the word one, O-N-E, to 516-231-6762. 516-231-6762. You'll get a little prompt on that. You can give your name and your address and your email. And then after a couple days after that, you will get some emails with some videos from Dr. Hoffman sharing how to communicate this message in your practice. So some free resources as a gift from the Master Circle Global to those of you on this series, which I am very grateful for. Thank you very much. And we're going to keep continuing this conversation. So we have new people that we're going to enter into the conversation moving forward, but I'll be back with you tomorrow, summing up this series with Dr. Hoffman and then introducing our next speaker and our next guest on the conversation. So please send this information out. We need more people a part of this conversation. Send them to our website, onechiropractic.org. Go to the Neurologically Based Chiropractic tab. Click on there and have them become part of this conversation as well. We love and appreciate you. God bless your day.